Today we're going to be working on an Andy Warhol pop art four-up, and we're going to be using two resources. One is written directions with images, and another one is a video tutorial. So I'm looking here first at my written directions, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Photoshop and I'm going to create a new document. So opening up Photoshop, and I'm going to go to File, New. Now I need to be very particular on how I set up this document. If your image is a horizontal image, such as the woman with the hood, or if your image is a vertical image, such as the boy against the wall, you're going to have to set up your new document slightly different. So for vertical images, you're going to set it up with the width of 8, a height of 10, and a resolution of 300. For a horizontal format, which is the woman with the hood, which is what I'm going to be doing today, I'm going to set it up with the width of 10, a height of 8, and a resolution of 300. And color mode will be RGB color, 8-bit, background will be white, and so on. And then I will click on OK. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to name this and final Andy Warhol 4-up underscore your first initial and then your last name. I'm going to select inches, not centimeters, inches. The width is going to be 10. The height is going to be 8. And the resolution is 300. And everything defaults to what I want it to be. I'm going to select OK. All right, let's go to our directions. All right, we're also going to do a file save as, and we're going to make sure that we save our document into our documents file on our computer. We're going to then click on digital photo, and then we're going to put it in a folder called pop art. Okay, hopefully when you do this, it'll default save to this spot, because this should be where you went to get your image in the first place. Do not save anything in downloads. Downloads is a temporary file. So let's come back to Photoshop. I'm going to do a file save as, and I'm going to go to my digital photo. I'm going to click on my I'm going to click on my digital photo file from documents, then to my digital photo, and then I'm going to go into my pop art image. I'm obviously doing something slightly different here just because I have many files. So here's my Andy Warhol pop art file, and I'm just going to click on save. Okay, I'm calling this version 2 because I've already named this file already today. Okay, so just make sure your work is saved in your documents, digital photo, pop art folder, okay? All right, so now you need to open all 4 versions you saved of this image of the woman. Well, I'm doing a woman with a hood, so you need to go and find your pop art portrait that you worked on of your friend or family member, and you should have 4 versions of that. And you're going to open those images, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to go to File, Open, and here are my images. All right, I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And I'm going to click on Open. Okay. So let's go to our directions here. Now that I have my 4 versions open, I need to first go to version 1, and I'm going to click on the little cropping tool. So let's go back to that. I'm going to go to version 1. Going to click on my cropping tool, which is right here on the vertical toolbar. And normally this will just have a ratio going across the top of the horizontal toolbar. You want to select ratio and you want to go down to width, height, and resolution. Now, since my image is a horizontal format, I'm going to put in 5 for my width, 4 for my height, and 300 for my resolution. If my image was a vertical format, such as the boy against the wall, then I would put in 4 for my width and 5 for my height. But that's not what I want to do. So for this particular image, I want to have a horizontal format. Now, I really like the way this crops just center here. So I'm going to check mark that and crop the image down. Now I'm going to go to image 2. Click in there just to bring up the cropping marks and check mark that. Go to image 3. Click in there and check mark that. And now I'm going to go over to image 4. Click right in there and click on that check mark. Okay, so now my images have all been cropped the exact same way. So I'm repeating my steps. It's now time to go to step 10 and select my image. I'm going to start with image 1 and I'm going to do Control A, which will select the entire image, or I can go to select all. So show you 2 ways to do this. So I'm going to come back to my image 1. I can go up to select all and that'll select the entire image, or I can use my keyboard and go Control A and that will select my image as well. So now it's time to go over here to Edit, Copy, Merged, which copies all my layers. And I'm going to go to my blank document, click on the Move tool at the top here, and do a Control V, which will paste the image onto my document, and then I will move it up to the left-hand corner. I'm going to repeat those steps. I'm going to go to image 2. I'm going to do a Control A, Edit, Copy, Merge, come back to my document, Control V, going to move that up to the right hand corner. Going to go to image 3. I'm going to do a Control A, Edit, Copy, Merged, come back here and do a Control V and paste it down. And I'm thinking I might move this to my right side. I'm not exactly sure yet. And then I'm going to go to my final image. I'm going to do a Control A, Edit, Copy, Merge, go back to my document and do a Control V. And I'm going to look here and see if there's anything I want to move. I kind of like having this green and this kind of yellow opposite of each other, and then this blue and this kind of cool tone pinks. I think that visually works okay. It kind of lines up differently here. Alrighty, so now what I want to do is I want to apply what's called a border. But before I do that, I'm going to do a Control plus on my keyboard, and I'm just going to zoom in and make sure that my images look like they're fairly aligned pretty well here, which they do. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out. So if you look at the directions, it says to zoom in and make sure you don't have any white in between your images. It should look like this image on the right. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to click right here in this gray area of layer 1, and we are going to pull up what's called the layer style, and we're going to click on stroke, the whole word stroke, And we're going to go to position and select inside. We're going to select a color. How I like to do the color is I like to pick a color that is more inside, like maybe the lips or maybe the eye color. So I'm going to pick the lip color here. And you can see that the color picker now has changed to pink. I'm going to select OK on that. And I'm going to change the size anywhere between 30 and 40. And you can see now we have a pink border along the image. I'm going to select OK. I'm going to bring up the layer styles again. Now you can kind of play with these layer styles. You can do bevel emboss, you can do inner glow. Just kind of play with these. So I'm going to play with a little bit of bevel emboss. Now that means that you just kind of move these things around. You see how it kind of makes this kind of interesting bevel. You can soften it. You can bring the opacity down so it's not quite so pink. You can bring the opacity down on the multiply, which will make it a little bit brighter and not as dark. And once you have something you like, you can click OK, or you can even go into another one. I'm going to do inner glow. And I'm going to kind of make this little white inner glow on the inside. You can see how I'm kind of like moving these around, and there we go. I'm starting to see something. I'm starting to see a choke, and I can also increase the size on that a little bit, and I can change the range or the jitter. If you don't notice any change, then just leave it alone. I can also change the color, so maybe I want to make it a little bit of a pink color, but maybe not the same pink that I had before, so maybe something a little bit lighter. That could be pretty. Okay. Let's see. The noise doesn't really seem... Oh, the noise reduces in regards to like how it's pixelated. And opacity is all the way up to 100%. I could also change it to normal, or I could change it to lighten, whatever I want. So let's say I want to do lighten. Okay, I am now done. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now the next step is to copy the layer style. So let's come down here on our directions. We're going to copy the layer style by right-clicking on our layer in the gray area, and we're going to go to copy layer style. And now we're going to click on layer 2, and we're going to go to paste layer style. Now you'll notice that we're going to go to layer 3, paste layer style, and layer 4, paste layer style. Now you're going to notice that the colors are all the same. We want to change the colors, okay? So to do that is what you do is you click, I'm going to keep layer 1 the same, but on layer 2 I'm going to click on stroke. Okay, so that's this right corner, I believe. Yes, my layer 2 is up at the top, and I'm going to click on the lips and get the lip color again. Let's see. I want it to be orange. There we go. And I'm going to say OK. OK. And now I'm going to go and I'm going to click on stroke on layer 3. And I'm going to change the lip color to kind of like a... Oh, I need to make that purple. That's the purple one. I'm going to say OK and OK. And now I'm going to come up and I'm going to click on stroke. Cancel. I want to make sure I'm on stroke here. Okay, stroke. And I'm going to click on the lip color, which is more of the blue, and click OK. OK. Alrighty. So now the next step is to zoom in on this. Okay, we want to, after we applied it and we've changed the colors, we want to zoom in on the layer to make sure that There is no white in between our borders, okay? So I'm going to zoom in on this, go Control plus, and you might want to deselect everything, so go select, deselect layers so you don't have any like cropping lines. And I'm going to get in really close and make sure that these corners line up, and they do perfectly in the middle. That's good, because sometimes you might have this where, let's select layer 2, you might have like maybe a little white like that in between. We don't want that, so we want to move that over and make sure that there's no white showing, and then we can zoom out again. And if there's a little bit of a white edge, we can go to select, deselect. There's a little bit of a white edge along the right or along the top or along the left or along the bottom. That's okay, because that's not, we're going to be cropping this image. It's going to be an 8x10 and it's going to be framed, so that's okay. We just don't want to have it in the center. Alrighty, so now this is what your image should look like when it's done. And you want to make sure you save this, so you're going to go to File, Save As. Make sure it's in your, why isn't it not saving? I just went to File, Save As, and it's not doing anything. Great. There we go. It just took a little time. Okay, go to your documents, go to your digital photo file, go to your Andy Warhol pop art folder, and click on Save. Yes. Okay, I'm saving it. So now the next step is to turn this into the Delmar Team Drive as a PSD file. So you're going to go into your drive, and you're going to, hopefully the internet won't take forever here. Let me put this on pause. Alrighty. So this image is going to be saved into the Delmar Team Drive. So you have to go to Team Drives, click on Delmar Digital Photo, and then pick your class period. Okay, this is 2, 3, we got 6 and 7. So I'm going to demonstrate with period 2. Click on period 2, click on Pop Art Final, and then you need to go into your images. So open up your folder, go to your documents, after you go to your documents, you are going to go into digital photo file. Where's my digital photo file? I have a lot of files. And then after you go to your digital photo file, you're going to go into your pop art folder, and you're going to look for your image that you saved there as a PSD. Here we go. Final Andy Warhol 4up, and I'm going to drag it right over like that. You're going to see it uploading, and it will be a PSD file in the folder. Alrighty. So that is the final step. Make sure you follow all of these steps to turn in your work.